Hello, friends. My name's host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People, and I've got the secrets of romantic scandals. Did you know that Party A was having an affair with Party C while married to Party C and D concurrently? This is not actually about romantic scandals. I titled it that because I figured that's a title people like to talk about that kind of stuff and hear about that kind of stuff. So it's a good way to test if in fact like there was something wrong with the previous stream, or just there's zero interest in Eric right now, which is certainly plausible. I know that they're not sending out notifications probably because there's live streamed so many times today. But I was surprised to still be at, well, I had 2 viewers, but still be at 0 actual concurrent viewers at 20 minutes. Surprised me. It doesn't necessarily disappoint me, or I'm not necessarily concerned about the fact that nobody's here. It just makes me think maybe something was broken about that last live stream. And, well, let's test it out and see if something was broken about it, or if just nobody's in. So, as last time, as was the case last time, this live stream is massively important. This is ridiculous. Okay. So, fine. See, this is not gonna play out. So here he is. I was dumbly sitting on the edge of the chair here, and then he swooped, and now I'm gonna get out of this chair, sit in this chair, which I went to get because I didn't want to keep going to this chair in the first place. And then as soon as I sit in this chair, he's gonna get up out of this chair. Because he's trouble. That's why. I just know he's gonna pull his shit. Oh no, this time he's just gonna claim the chair. Okay, well, that's what I tried to do in the first place, trouble. I tried to say, hey, fine, have that chair. I'll sit in the chair over here. And then you decided to climb and get up on my laptop while I'm trying to get the stream ready to go, Now you steal my chair. Okay, well, fine. If you just sit on my lap, it would have been fine, but unfortunately I wasn't sitting in a place that prevented you from doing what you did. I don't think he really moved at all since I got up. Look how much of the chair he's occupying. He's occupying too much of the chair for us to both sit on. Huh, lover kitty. Oh yeah. What a good kitty, man, you are. You're so special and true and just and fine, and special and true and good and just and fine. And I love you. Yes, I do. So this probably won't be a very long lecture. I'm feeling tired, kind of a sudden. I guess I've run out of amphetamine/mushroom energy. YouTube may also have a problem with my earlier stream and a bunch of abusive language I was using. That's another thing I'm kind of worried about. But the thing is, if they watch it, they'll realize the reason I'm being abusive in my language to that person is because they're a hateful scumbag. And I mean, any sane jury would side with me in this matter because I'm just calling him out on being such an awful person. What I'll do is smoke a cigarette, and I think what else I'll do is look for one of two. I believe they're still here, but maybe at least one's still here. Klaus Tollers. I think I have either one or two non-alcoholic beers here. I don't remember which fridge they're in. They were in the back fridge. Then I dumbly took them out of the back fridge, planning to do I'm not sure what with them, and that's the last I remember. So I know I didn't drink both of them. I may have drank one of them. I'm gonna go look for that right now. I'll be back in a jiffy, as they say. But while I'm gone, I'm gonna play some music for nobody to listen to. I'm gonna delete that video forever. This one is this copyright thing that makes me partially blocked. I don't like that. So, okay, now go here. And go here, push this.
The battle's ever waging and the battle's never won. If you stop yowing, then the fighting's all done. And the fight's been raging, though the war's no fun. If you're not engaging, then the fight's unwon. The battle's ever waging and the battle's never won. If you stop yowing, then the fighting's all done. And the fight's been raging, though the war's no fun. If you're not engaging, then the fight's unwon. Makes thought and the youth inside. When Piao is plotting a spiteful ride. When work produces nothing that's real. And playtime seems just like the peel of a life that has no fruit inside. Every impulse run and tide. Run and tide. The battle's ever waging and the battle's never won. If you stop yowing, then the fighting's all done. Fight's been raging, though the war's no fun. If you're not engaging, then the fight's unwon. The battle's ever waging and the battle's never won. If you stop yowing, then the fighting's all done. And the fight's been raging, though the war's no fun. If you're not engaging, then the fight's unwon. The battle's ever waging and the battle's never won. Never done. Fighting's all done and the fight's been raging, though the war's no fun. If you're not engaging, then the fight's unwon. The battle's ever waging and the battle's never won. If you stop yowing, the fighting's all done. And the fight's been raging, though boys. If you're not engaging, then the fight's unwon. The battle's ever waging and the battle's never won. Stop yowing, then the fighting's all done. Fight's been raging, though the war's no fun. You're not engaging, then the fight's unwon. To the undertown, Angeline in tow, for a secret unattended show. Under blazing blue and tropical skies, Angeline is stuck with you. She can't stand other guys. Stay running till the chase is done. Hide your loot and tracks. You may have been born a son of a gun, but if you lie low, you might one day make it back. If she needs him, he will be there. Seems he's always nearby, he's always around. Angeline has his or another means to get by. Get above ground to the undertown, Angeline in tow, for a secret unattended show. Under blazing blue and tropical skies, Angeline is stuck with you. She can't stand other guys. Stay running till the chase is done. Hide your loot and your tracks. You may have been born a son of a gun, but if you lie low, you might one day make it back. If she needs him, he will be there. Seems he's always nearby, he's always around. Angeline has his or another means to get by. Get above ground, stay running till the chase is done. Hide your loot and your tracks. You may have been born a son of a gun, but if you lie low, you might one day make it back.
I got my hose, I got my bins, I got my cats, and then again, I got my drugs and my gang, and my strippers, all the same. I've got everything that I need. I'm rolling down the highway, moving at top speed, looking out for a reason to see a G. I got my hose, I got my gat, a super awesome conference. I got my clubs, I got my strippers, I got all kinds of fun stuff. Rolling in the Benz, down the highway super fast, going to another super awesome conference for Florida's natural grapefruit juice. Florida's natural grapefruit juice. Florida's natural grapefruit juice. Florida's natural grapefruit juice. Get your hose, got your gats, got your guns, got your band. Yeah, don't forget your grapefruit juice, my friends.
Seems like years that I've been pressing forward in this barrier area, which precludes me from progressing past this point. Every time I step on that, I learn just as little I know about what. Every time I step on that, I learn just as little I know about what. Seems like years that I've been pressing forward in this barrier area, which precludes me from progressing past this point. Wherefore art thou, Borneo? And wherefore were you Guam? What for did you get thorny, though? Did you have another fight with Mom? When so forth cometh that, and whosoever is that on its back. Every time I step on that, I learn just as little I know about what paranormal stuff. love.
He's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied, chance to yell at them.
So now he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that bridge brings a new approach. Sneakily, he'll try to encroach up on the guilty. Then he'll finally get his chance to yell at them. He's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that
He's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied, chance to yell at them.
he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets.
Okay, I'm back from my trip to get drinks from the inside fridge. Oh, there's audio aplenty. There's audio aplenty. All the audio anybody could possibly want, plus more. I was making a thinky face because they start off my live stream before I've done anything that's questionable as limited ads because of inappropriate content. And then afterwards, they evaluate it, and if it's not inappropriate, they change it from yellow to green. You can't assume I'm inappropriate just because I usually am. That's not a fair way to do things. Oh, good. Good for you. The only reason I monetized this one was because I didn't monetize the last one, and I had an unusually absence of viewers. And the other thing I was doing is I was looking at the streams to try to figure out, like, what is the average number of viewers per, say, 20 minutes, because I had that video at 20 minutes to see if it was, in fact, unusually small in a significantly deviant way from a bunch of previous streams. And in fact, it was. Like the smallest amount of views any of the other streams have is like around 100, unless they were real short. But before, they've had people who weren't at the live stream have a chance to watch it already. It didn't factor that in. Some people may not watch it, may watch it after it's done being live, you know. I wasn't thinking about that. So ignore that. I mean, don't ignore it, but I was wrong in my conclusions. Oh yeah, I know. We were again. I wouldn't call that troll. Um, we had a hateful spike monkey being hateful. Oh, that's good to hear, Mr. Mom. I mean, I weren't doing it for YouTube. I have it here regardless. So, you don't have to even look at the chat replay if you see the chat. Although, I have noticed that the chat replay is faster at the head of this chat. Like it adjusts it so that when you actually send the message is when it appears. They've got some kind of equivalent of the 7-second delay that these tabs, like, I don't know, they still do to beep out bad words. Yeah, well, I found it entertaining because I was on mushrooms and Adderall, and that combination makes me a little mean and happy about it, which is kind of awful, but oh well, that's my setting. I say I don't want to. No, don't save me from inappropriate comments. I'll delete them if I think they're inappropriate. See it. Don't try to do my job for me. I don't trust you to know what comments are appropriate or not at all. I trust me to know that. So I turn off all that shit. But, you know, old inappropriate comments, I turn that shit off. Oh yeah, we're excited. Yeah. I think in some medical way, YouTube is confused by me. That's ridiculous. Atheists are atheists because of trauma. That's so insane. Both my parents were atheists. My dad didn't like his Christian upbringing. Well, my mom just didn't care about religion at all, you know. She just, I think, probably figured, I I just don't think she never thought about such questions. And therefore was an atheist. My mom was thinking about ISFJ things all the time. She wasn't thinking about theism. But she didn't believe in God, and she didn't like conservative Christians. One of the last things she retained as her dementia worse than this was her hatred of Donald Trump. I mean, that's terrible reasoning. I'll explain to you why it's terrible reasoning and why CJ probably also dislikes this book. It's because it's a willful ignoring. It's just totally straw man, right? Or willfully ignoring what the actual meaning of it is. Humans have been trying to establish a connection with the divine for all of its history in many different ways, right? Just because humans aren't good at getting God right, well, that explains why I have to keep trying so many times. And it doesn't explain that God's not worth anything, or whatever. I had quite an extended conversation with Jesus in the car earlier. I was discussing or presenting to him my dilemma that those sinners at continuing transitions lied to me, and I don't want to forgive them. I want to rain wrath down upon them. I want them to experience the natural consequences of their bad behavior. And I believe that what Jesus conveyed back to me was, no, you're right, you shouldn't forgive them until and unless they're actually remorseful and are self-accountable for what they've done. You have to repent to be forgiven, right? I think. I mean, if you're playing, I did not sin, I did not sin, I did not sin, you cannot be forgiven, can you? I don't think so. Because, well, I guess you could be forgiven, but I mean, you would deny even, you would say in that instance that you don't need to be forgiven, you do nothing wrong, and the person who's forgiving you is doing something wrong by presuming that you need, by presuming to forgive you when you've done nothing wrong. That's why you can't forgive somebody who's not repentant, because they're either right to not be repentant, in which case they did nothing wrong and there's nothing for you to forgive, or they're wrong to be not repentant, in which case they don't believe they did anything wrong, So you can't possibly forgive them. You can only correct them. Well, Pascal's wager is silly because what I said previously. Humanity has for its entire history made myriad different kinds of attempts to connect with the divine. And none of those attempts that were genuine attempts to connect with the divine were utilitarian like that. Like, it doesn't even make any sense at all, right? God isn't going to predicate what happens to us after we die on whether or not we believed in Him. That doesn't make any sense at all. But God/Jesus is willing to forgive us if we hold ourselves accountable and try not to sin, and are genuinely remorseful when we do, we will be forgiven. You know, God and Jesus care about that stuff. Obviously, they don't care about whether individuals believe in them because they know that that word's not meaningful enough, and that if people are affirming things about God, that's not the right way to have a relationship with God. And you know, it's like God's not an argument you make. So obviously that's stupid. The notion that you even could conceivably choose to believe in God because if you don't, and He does exist, you might be punished. The problem is, if He does exist, and He's God, He doesn't give a fuck if you believe in Him. He knows that doesn't even mean anything. That what you can do is exercise faith and pray. You can waste your breath making affirmation, case-style arguments about existentiality of God, which is just a stupid thing to do because one engages in faith, which is belief, quote unquote, in the absence of evidence or the presence of contrary evidence. So obviously, when you're choosing to engage in faith, you're saying, I'm doing something that's not an argumentationally driven matter. Right? In which argumentation is not possibly relevant. Because faith definitionally will lose the argument if it's so dumb as to think it should participate in it. Definitionally, it's unjustified belief. So, this is why I do not understand Christians saying things like, "No, I can objectively prove God is real" or whatever. Because if you're correct, then you're not exercising faith. And then we're no longer talking about God as a consequence. Because God, operationally, if you define it, is that which you pray to. Let's see. Sure do wish I had my glasses. Those would have been good to bring. It always sort of arrived at the idea that a theist can't believe that an atheist can have a moral foundation without being supervised by their sky authority. Well, that is frequently a misconception of religious people, that being religious is a prerequisite to being moral. The thing is, what's happening there is both theists and atheists are doing the wrong thing. They're making arguments about God. It's like trying to catch fish by doing interpretive dances that explain to the fish that it should jump out of the water. You don't seem to get what fishing is. Neither theists nor atheists seem to get what Godding is. The art of rhetoric, logos, ethos, and pathos. A pyramid, a hierarchy of needs. Thus spoke Winston's mom. Which one do you think's at the top of the pyramid? Is it a flower? That's what I'd put on top of the pyramid. Well, it sounds to me like TJ needs me to explain to him that he's trying to fish by doing interpretive dances. There's no correct argument about whether your justifications argumentationally are good enough for you to go jogging. You're trying to use the wrong epistemology metric. It's not the one that fits that kind of thing, right? nice. Think about can we compromise? Can we have a flower with an eye in the middle of it? We'll see if we have this here. It depends if his perceptions going in are right or wrong as to whether we're going to have a terrific time. If his perceptions of me and of himself are right going in, then he'll approach it in way X and we'll have a great time. If his perceptions are backwards going in, then he'll approach it in way Y and we'll have and I'll have a fine enough time, I guess, probably, but he won't. The thing is, if we're gonna have a good time, an actual good time having this conversation, he's gonna need to both ask questions, hear the answers, and consider them some, even if he's super smart. I mean, he's just asking questions because he thinks he's found a way to get me or something. It's going to consistently backfire on him. Because I'm better at both asking and answering questions. I've never even seen that before. You know anything about it? I already tell you that though. Overall, I'm trying to fish by interpretive dancing, so we can know for sure he doesn't know meow. And that he's not thinking at the frame level very well. If he is an interested student, then fantastic. When he thinks he's ready to debate me, quote unquote, I'm not yet taking the stone from my hand, grasshopper. There's no such thing as autism spectrum. It's autism, which always includes mental retardation as a component. And there are people who have epipolar, or sometimes A, who get pathologized with this label. This whole neuroatypical shit is completely garbage. It's another way of pathologizing because you don't have the right cognitive function for it. I don't need to prepare anything. Whatever conversation topic comes up, I'll either know about it, in which case I'll definitely win, or I won't know about it, in which case I won't try to argue it. I don't think there's any drama. I was just, Winston's mom has kindly set up a conversation between me and this other YouTuber named T-Joe, and she said, I'm sure you're going to have a great time or something like that. And I've been explaining, well, we might. Depends on these things as to whether we have a good time or not. Because if he comes into it viewing us as equals in some fashion, and we're going to debate in some fashion, I can already tell from Winston Mom's quotes of the guy that he's not a very good thinker at the frame level. So he has zero chance. Same as me. But if he's just somebody who's interested in debate and wants to learn things and learn and take advantage of my ability to provide him with the best arguments for all the things that he's saying and where he shouldn't be making arguments, etc. Well, it could be incredibly beneficial to him, and I enjoy teaching, you know. If he wants to argue with me about God, he will encounter exactly what I just said. Faith in God is faith, which is defined as belief without justification. So, you can't believe in God and also think it's argumentationally justified. The fact that you point out that it's not argumentationally justified just means you understand what faith means, I guess. But the fact that you think that therefore people shouldn't have faith means you're not getting it. No, I mean, it doesn't matter if he's an EHP. I'm a 51-year-old EHP who spent decades as a debate coach. EHPs are SI types. The experience matters a lot. And I'm 51, and I have all of my experience has been relevant to this sort of shit. I was a debater and a professional coach for years and years and years. No, I don't want to debate him. I don't mind at all and probably would enjoy instructing him. I don't mind having a conversation about things. But I anticipate that he'll say some wrong things during this conversation. And that I will correct him and that he's not going to like it. No? Because he's running a YouTube channel, positioning himself as the expert debater. Which maybe he is, but against most people or whatever, but he's miles from me, miles below me. You know, that's, I don't need to even watch him to know that. I just needed to read that quote you put. And even if I didn't know anything at all about him, I would still be completely certain that the worst case scenario is neither of us is willing to debate anything because neither of us is willing to affirm the wrong thing. That's how you could tie me. Somebody could tie me. To tie me, you just have to refuse to affirm things that are wrong and negate things that are wrong. Then you can tie me. But almost nobody can manage to have any kind of adversarial discourse for an extended period of time during which they don't affirm things that are wrong. So, almost nobody can possibly tie me. Certainly nobody's going to beat me because I know how to debate, right? Like, I really know how to debate. I understand exactly how to debate. I know why not to phrase that affirmation with these 6 words, but instead with only 5 of them. And exactly why and how that both prevents you from doing mya and makes it such that if you attempt to do mya, the following impacts occur argumentational. He can't do that. He hasn't had enough experience to encounter all of the arguments made by people who are smart. Instead, he's trying to argue against people who are dumb and that make him look smart. You know that he's trying to argue against people who are dumb because he's trying to argue against theists who don't know what faith is. So, did this lad get on the Adderall for his weight and then suddenly won't shut up about his ideas? I don't know anything about the guy. I don't know if he won't shut up about his ideas or not. He can not shut up as much as he wants because I don't shut up about my ideas at all. But if he's going to be engaging in a conversation with me, unfortunately, if he's wrong, I'm going to correct him. I say, unfortunately, because that's why I can't collaborate with anybody on YouTube. So, you know. I mean, think about for Ghost of You. He went out of his way to engage me and try to collaborate. But unfortunately, because he was wrong, it just revealed that he didn't know what he was talking about. He wasn't wrong about his type. But he was wrong about a lot of cognitive function things and positioning himself as an expert on them, you know. To his credit, I think he came to understand that, which is pretty surprising. But then he did write a book, and sent me some silly email like, I mentioned you in this book. Well, hopefully that mention is, I was wrong and didn't know anything about cognitive function. Then I listened to Eric, and this is what he says, and the rest is quoting me. And it's like, don't write a book about stuff you don't know anything about, please. If you don't mind terribly. Right, you'll notice I'm not writing books about architecture. I'm not writing books about other things either, but if I were to be writing books, and I have before, I've only written books about things that I know about. You know, it's like when I wrote The Orderly World of Grammar, which is a sentence diagramming way of teaching grammar, I wrote it after I fully understood everything. I had to learn grammar before I wrote the book because I didn't learn grammar in school at all because it didn't teach you that way. But my mentor teacher taught it that way and taught me to teach it that way, and I'm a very fast learner when you have a good way of teaching something. So before I knew it, I perfectly understood it was grammar, whereas prior to that, I didn't understand it at all. I was correct almost always in my usage and such, but I didn't understand it. The key point though is I wrote the book after I understood it. It's a good order of operation. First understand, then write a book. First write a book, then understand, not so much. Well, you know. People are motivated a lot by money because they don't understand what it is. There's always only two statuses with money. You have enough of it or you don't. It sucks being broke. You can never have too much money, but it's not because you need to buy yachts and shit, right? It's because if you have infinite money, then you can guarantee that you'll be dead before you're broke again. Would you please write a book right now out loud about the secrets of romantic scandals? Yes, I will. Once upon a time, there was a royal family, and they lived in a place called Bringland. Anyway, there was a queen of Bringland, and her husband, who was not the king of Bringland. And they had a couple of kids. And one of them was named Barles. And Barles really liked this one lady named Shmamilla. And even though he really liked that lady, he married a different lady on purpose. Her name was Biana. And then, even though Biana was way hotter than Bamilla, he fucked them both. Even though he was married to Biana. And apparently, he preferred fucking Bamilla. Meanwhile, Biana was naturally incensed by this. And so she said, I'm going to fuck my bodyguard named Bodyguard. And he will be the actual father to my red-haired child named Barry. Years later, he'll write a book speculating about this without doing the simple thing he could do to determine the answer, namely a paternity test. The end. Yeah, television. Yeah. Well, she had the wrong relationship with the paparazzi. The paparazzi doesn't need to chase me. I'll just stand there and not run away. In fact, if the paparazzi are following me in my car, and let's say there's a light that's yellow, I'll stop to make sure I don't get distance from them. I don't want to lose them. I'm surprised we're still driving. You know what we should do? I yell out the window. Paparazzis, we should all pull over. I'd love for you to take pictures of me and talk to me and stuff. And that would be wonderful. Yes, please. Take pictures of me even at my own home. I don't care. But don't trespass. Use like a long-angled lens or something that makes you be able to shoot a picture from a long distance away. If I'm walking around the house naked with the shutters open, I have no expectation of privacy. No reasonable expectation of privacy. if that'll get the paparazzi to pay attention to me, I'll put on a skirt. And they're welcome to take as many crotch shots as they want. I will be wearing underwear. Probably just some ordinary boxers. Probably won't be that exciting, but they're welcome to do so. They should do so. In fact, not just welcome to do so. I require them to do so. The paparazzi is currently in breach of contract because they're not lying on the ground and taking pictures of me in a skirt. Also, where's my limo? I want to arrive on a giant green fruit and say, take pictures of me as I get off of my limo. In breeches. Well, I mean, if I know they're going to be taking a picture up my skirt, I think I'll probably put on a codpiece. My most glamorous codpiece. It'll be encrusted with rhinestones that spell out Eric's dick. I saw the coolest weird car today. Somebody at the end of the hotel has this super weird pink car with a bunch of little ducks lined up on the dashboard and stuff. And other ducks that are like attached to the rear view mirror outside. And these weird reindeer horn things coming out. And it's like a super nice, expensive, brand new Audi or something like that. But it's all pink. And it's got a strange mixed theme of little ducks and reindeers. I don't know. Oh. It actually kind of worked. The reindeer things need to go. But the rest of it kind of works, actually, with the pink and just the ducks. But the reindeer things have got to go. Host Eric's TWFP is not what I said it should say, though. It should say Eric's dick. That's what my cotton piece should say. I'll wear it outside of my clothes. Yeah, I'll probably have to like figure out a way to like make my junk stay like all together while the codpiece isn't actually the thing holding it all together, I guess. And I could wear it outside my clothes and people would know where my dick was. Cable ties. No thanks. Cable ties. No, I'm not into lingerie at all. I had fun watching and trying on clothes because I kept saying things like, I can't tell if that shirt looks good, without you repeatedly showing me and not showing me your breasts. That's why I had fun with that. Because I was pretending like she needed to be naked for me to evaluate her clothes. And she was pretending that she was dumb. You know, this is a game we play. It's called Eric pretends to be controlling and Rachel pretends to be dumb. That's called sex. No, like she, like she, well, it's like special needs though. I mean, there's nothing less sexy than special needs. But there's something very sexy about a dumb bimbo, you know? Dumb bimbos are dumb, but they're not retarded. The best ones are. Well, yeah. I think once you get below about 80 IQ score, people cease being dumb bimbos and start becoming retarded people. Like, sort of a gradual. You gotta be careful to stay on this side of that line. You stay on this side of that line, you're just a puss layer who owns a bunch of dumb bimbos. You end up on this side of the line, then you'll probably be arrested, you know? Unfortunately, I am not a fan of sexual intercourse with people that aren't racial at all. You know, like, more precisely, I find that sexual intercourse becomes good in a relationship with more time, becomes more good because both parties are more totally comfortable. And I find sexual intercourse with somebody that I haven't had sex with a lot of times before to be, it's like guaranteed to be bad. I can guarantee you this, lady. You might sleep with me, but you'll regret it. And you're like, God, that was like the worst sex I ever had. Well, it was over pretty quick. That's one good thing, right? CJ in the his Wizen house just peeped some of the amazing religious stuff. Oh, you peeped it with your ears. That's pretty impressive. I've heretofore only been able to peep with my eyes, but I'm trying to accomplish what you've accomplished. I'm going to be able to peep with my ears as well. I'd like to be able to hear with my eyes. I also want to be able to taste with my nose and smell with my penis. I think those are reasonable requests. So that I can smell the inside of Rachel's vagina while I'm humping her. I wonder how long it takes for the smell that my penis smells to travel up to my regular nose. Is it instant? Or is there a time delay? Well, ew, Eric, what's that? The truth is, I don't want my eyes to hear and I don't want my penis to smell. I just want my ears to peep. And I also want them to produce peeps for me to eat on demand. I want to be able to pull out a yellow peep whenever I want to. I don't like peeps, so it won't happen very often, but it would be a good party trick. Especially if I'm at a party where people like peeps. CJ O'Connell, haha, I left a comment. Missed the stream, but commented at the timestamp mark. Haha. Wow. Looks like CJ, she's done some work for you. Make it easy for you to meow the meow, whatever it is. So, now you don't even have any excuses. But you still won't do it, will you? Even though she made it that easy for you to meow that meow. T-Jump found his meaning by banging hot models. Well, I've never banged any kind of model, hot or otherwise. No, wait. I once did have sex with a model train. But other than that, no models in my sexual conquest history book. I'm going to conquer you with my penis. Yeah, but, you know, you're not gonna get CJ to stream by telling him you want him to stream. You'd be better served to tell him you want him to not stream. Then he'd be more likely to stream. Even better would say, like, you may not stream. Then he'd be like, I'll show you. I'm gonna say right now. Instead, by telling him how much you enjoy his stream, you're just thinking like, ah, now there's more expectations for it to be good instead of just me fucking around. Never mind, I don't even want to do it anymore. He even acknowledged me saying that once when he talked to James Haight. Lol. He seems alright, but he just be sitting there with his face and a dumb picture of his face. That's great. I mean, I'd watch it, but he's like one of those people with a face who just like, I'm just gonna have a face. I was like, never mind, I don't watch this. I want to just talk about real estate. We won't talk about escrow. Let's talk about escrow. Oh yeah. Nothing makes me hotter than escrow. Jack's the only way that TM's face is punchable. I wonder why this feeling is evoked. Just all those guys that, you know, they have a face. Just. I just wanted to tell them, y'all suck! He kinda does. Is he Smirky Joe? Is that why you want to punch him? Is it because he's a Smirky Joe? You're not supposed to say escrow anymore. It's Inuit. Excellent. 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 Me, Reiki, wrong time. Yeah. I got kind of a weird fetish. I can only really get off when I'm humping an Eskimo while eating an Eskimo pie. Doesn't matter what gender they are. Just as long as they're an Eskimo and I'm eating an Eskimo pie, I'm just rock hard. The rest of the time, I just can't even get it up. So I'm continually thinking when I'm with this chick, it's like, okay, cool, where's my Eskimo pie? Eskimo bimbos? You mean Eskimobos, as they're called? Well, I'm very familiar with Eskimobos. The bimbos are the Eskimo people. Eskimoimbos, or Eskimimbos, as some people call them, or Beskimimbos, are some of my favorite kinds of bimbos. But it doesn't matter how hot an Eskimo bimbo is. If I'm not also eating an Eskimo pie, I'm sexually disinterested. Usually, to be honest, pretty quickly the Eskimo gets forgotten and it's just me humping the Eskimo pie. Wasn't easy telling you that. This is a secret of mine that I keep for a long time. But I'm glad I'm finally out of the closet. I'm an Eskimo piosexual. I'm always trying to possess Eskimo pies. It's a unique combination of ice cream, chocolate stuff, flavor. Just makes me go, I need to fuck that. So anyway, that's why I had to leave that birthday party that time. You were serving Eskimo pies. And it was a children's birthday party. So I got out of there as quickly as possible. I should have warned you of my vulnerability to Eskimo pies before I showed up. But I didn't know you were going to be so reckless as to serve them at your child's birthday party. I've read my chart before, but maybe you can tell me some cool stuff. I will. Your meow is in rising meow, and that means meow. Unfortunately, Venus is in the wrong place. It shouldn't be there. It looks almost like you have a third nipple. You need to move it to the back. Also, the moon is too close to Saturn. You need to move those further apart from each other. Ideally, stop the conjunction of nods and squares that's currently happening between your Pluto, your Mercury, but really, who's really behind it is Jupiter, but everybody thinks Jupiter's a saint. But Jupiter's a big schemer. Astronomers have misidentified that red spot as a storm. It's kind of a storm, metaphorically. It's a storm of scheming. And that's why I've got some bad news, C.J. O'Connell. I've checked your astrological chart, and you get a D. That's almost an F. Like, are you even caring about how your Gemini and your Libra are treating each other? you shouldn't have them as roommates. They clearly don't get along. And what with your meow and retro meow, I mean, that's why you're a goat. Or, as we pronounce goat in astrology, Capricorn. Because, well, goats do eat corn. They don't wear capris. They might drink Capri Sun if they're very thirsty and there's no water. But I'm guessing goats would prefer to drink water over Capri Sun. Although it might depend on the flavor. Like, if they have a grass flavored Capri Sun, the goats might prefer that to water. Why hasn't Capri Sun tried to exploit the goat market? People with goats don't want to make their goats just drink plain water. Therefore, Capri Sun should issue a new line of flavors that include grass, alfalfa, and hay. And I don't mean H-E-Y, okay? I mean H-A-Y. You can't flavor a Capri Sun the flavor of hay. So, that's why you were confused for a second. It has to be the other kind of hay. A bit of an acquired taste. Hay. That's here's the wall. Yeah, little yellow sticks. You claim to be hay, but hey, why do you look like little yellow sticks? I don't believe you anymore. I don't believe you're hay. I just figured you out of lying from the first moment I saw you. I didn't know anything could lie so much without saying anything as you have, hay. Hay is the biggest liar of livestock food. It's always lying to the alfalfa. Watch out, alfalfa. There's a monster behind you. The alfalfa turns around and the hay says, made you look. That's what's wrong with hay. You woke up and you're happy to see I'm streaming. Well, I'm glad you're happy. You should be happy because today we learned an important lesson about hay. That hay is both a liar and that it bullies alfalfa. It tries to bully oats, but oats are too tough. was born March 27, 1996, in Newton, Massachusetts, 1:09 p.m. First, the doctor pulled me out of my mama, slapped me on the butt, and said, "Wake up, CJ. Time to get busy." CJ cried and cried. The doctor said, "Stop being a little bitch. Just 'cause you a newborn baby doesn't mean you should be crying about me slapping you on the ass." He was an old-fashioned Southern doctor. He had moved to Massachusetts in order to open his medical practice called Southern Fried OBGYN. No, it doesn't work like that, because the reason it doesn't work like that, Ivar, is because if that happens, then you countervalue the other person's tool function. And it makes it not good to be in a romantic relationship. Because you may value who they are, and you may value the same absolute values in a different place, but you countervalue how they are and how they do things. So the problem with it is what's instrumental for them and useful and conscious, but not absolute values, is their default way of doing things. And you think it's the default wrong way of doing things. People are weird about sharing stuff online. Right, because people are concerned that their personal information is going to be exploited to commit some kind of fraud or criminal whatever against them. But identity theft is not that easy. And if you you shouldn't put your social security number out online, but those things that CJ just put, they're all public record. It's all, you could Google it and find it out, because people's birth certificates are public records. Just like my boobs. They're public records. They're jazz records. Not very good, but anybody can listen to them at any time. Well, it's gone now. It's gone now. What did you lose this time? Oh, you lost your own date of birth and everything? You're never gonna find it again. Well, you will. You happen upon it like years later. Because the estate sale people will have found it for you. That's where I was I said, I don't remember how we came across it. I'm not sure if they found it or I found it or. But I do now have my original birth certificate. It's in a folder in the car. So, for all of you people who keep insisting I was not born, I can prove you wrong. I was born. I was a live birth. And I did jump over the Grand Canyon the next day on a horse. The youngest person ever to jump over the Grand Canyon on a horse. Also the oldest person to ever jump over the Grand Canyon on a horse. Because even though I was just one day old, I'm the only person to successfully pull it off. Countless people on horses have died attempting to jump over the Grand Canyon. But even though I was just one day old, I successfully pulled it off. Because I'm good at giving pep talks to horses. Yeah, we did hear that Lisa Marie Presley died. Somebody said, what did she die of? And I said, marrying Michael Jackson. And then I said, too soon? It was a hilarious moment from the previous stream. You missed it. You must feel so sad. Fortunately, I repeated it for you. So you can kind of feel like you didn't miss it. Did I sleep, Eric? No. I am tired. I'm feeling like I'm getting ready probably to wrap up sometime soon. Back to the hotel and go to bed for a bit. I've got this little book in my backpack. I think I'll show it to you. I wonder where my backpack is. How could I have lost my whole backpack? Oh, it's over there. Here's my little book. Rachel and I bought it today at Staples and went and had lunch. And this little book is what I call, okay, fine. It's full of this kind of stuff. Monday, do this. Research cat boarding. Sunday, Monday, Friday, do this stuff. Today I have on the list call carrying transitions, return the thing to the post office, cancel cable TV, call pod to have them pick up on the 20th. I did call carrying transition. I accomplished absolutely nothing on that call. Did none of those other things. And instead, went and bought mushrooms. Friday. Tomorrow is today now. Close, cancel, small safe deposit box. Note. You may need delay lessons both are empty. File change of address form at the post office. Pay car insurance. Go through the mail. Notes about the memorial. I need to provide photos, a primary photo, and an obituary, and email it to Leon before Monday, or by Monday, at the end of the day on Monday. pod matters. Mirror after bed as final add-on. Unpack. Interface suitcases and clothing. Assess what clothes we'll need for the next 10 days. Decide on a suitcase plan. Retrieve my purse. This is my Black & Decker bag where I carry my little dolls. Leave file cabinet at the front of the pod. Call pod. Pickup date the 20th. Isn't this thrilling? And then to help me get it a little bit more organized, I made a little calendar thing here in which I didn't leave space enough in any of the boxes to write anything. Let's do these lines. Get paid on this date. Paid them on this date. Put the bed and the mirror and the pot on this date. Mom's memorial on this date. Pod goes away on this date. Like that shit, you know? I don't like this little book and me having to do this kind of stuff. There's so many things to do, I have to write it down. And there's order of operation problems all the time. Like, I think, okay, well, I need to get stuff done today. What's one thing I can do? I could do this thing. I could put the bed in the pod. I call Cameron to come over to help me put the bed in the pod. And then I realized, Eric, you're going to need to sleep on that bed starting on Monday night for like 4 days. So you can't do that yet. You have to wait until later to do it. You have to wait till last to do that. And at that point I said, okay, I have to get a little book and write down stupid shit like this because I'm just a fiasco of a foobar when it comes to order of operation shit like this. Especially when, like, can we just count the weekends as regular days, please? Why do we have these days that don't count as business days? Like, we're closing in 10 days from whenever we opened. That's Friday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to close the house we're buying until Monday for some reason, because real estate doesn't happen on the weekends or something. I don't get this. Why can't I just wire you the money on Saturday and have the house then? Well, because this is real estate and things don't happen on the weekend. We'll show houses on the weekend and stuff, but you can't do any actual real estate business on the weekend, and those days somehow don't count for things, for certain things, and do count for other things. And it's just, can we just get rid of this concept of business days entirely and just have every day be the same kind of day? It doesn't require you to do business on the weekend, but it prevents structural stupidity like what's going on with real estate. Someone retired? I'm not retired. I haven't started working yet. There's a difference. No, I'm not retired. I'm just getting ready to start working. Takes me a little while to get revved up. The crazy thing is, CJ O'Connell, they call the ninth house a house, but it's really more like a shed. And that all of those are squeezed into there. No wonder you feel so, like your astrology is invading your personal space, You can't fit Sun, Mars, and Mercury in that tiny shed and not expect there to be no problems. That's why I say you stay away from the ninth house. You should stay away from it because it's misnamed itself a house. More properly deemed a shed. What's your vibe of needing truth, reality, peace, and love? Yeah, well, really, your vibe. Why would you force those three huge things into that tiny shed? Maybe that's your fetish. Just like I can only get off when I'm humping Eskimo pies. You can only get off when you're watching Mars, Mercury, and the Sun making each other very uncomfortable by cramming them in together into this small shed. Oh yeah, you guys have no room in there. You keep bumping into each other and saying sorry. Oh yeah. You want to synthesize the two. You mean synchronize? Or do you mean mush them into one thing? I'm not sure what you mean exactly. An Eskimo, of course, Grandcore. And like all Eskimos, rather than having people use their names, they prefer to be referred to simply as an Eskimo. What's your name? Just call me an Eskimo. We Eskimos aren't really that big into names. But what is your name? John Riley Cooper. But I prefer you just call me an Eskimo. The crazy thing is you look so much like an Eskimo too. That's why it's surprising that your name's John Riley Cooper. I didn't know that was an Eskimo name. Yeah, well, he was actually, I'm named after this guy. The first John Riley Cooper was actually the Eskimo who invented Eskimo pies. Really? I had no idea. Well, that's because we Eskimos prefer to just be called an Eskimo. We have only an oral tradition. We don't write down any of our history. The reason we don't write down our history is because snow makes terrible paper. You know, for a while we were trying to write down all of our history, but like every summer it kept melting. And then we said, fuck it. We're just having an oral tradition. That which is good is ultimately that which is of God and Jesus Christ. Well, that's a weird way to put it. People are responsible for their own actions and responsible for the consequences they create, you know. If I do something good, which is say if I take some sort of positively indicated proactive moral behavior like charity or something, maybe good, maybe not. If it is good, it's of me, and God approves. If it's bad, it's on me, and God disapproves. You're not responsible for your actions? That's a cool trick. I used to say that a lot. I say, none of my actions have any consequences. Whenever I fuck up, I say, none of my actions have any consequences. But, sadly, I was wrong. I was lying and wrong. No, I was joking and wrong. But can a joke be wrong, really? I was expressing what I wanted to be the case. I don't want my actions to have consequences. I don't think I even want to have actions that aren't words. Why I don't like SE very much is definitionally you're creating impacts. I mean, what I mean by I don't like it is I don't trust it because it's concretizing things that my intentional configuration says should be deliberated about and talked about more before concretization. Of course, there are lots of occasions where harms result from inaction, but that doesn't seem to bother me at all. Only harms that result from action seem to bother me. That's 8th slot, super unconscious SC. Well, I agree that it's by necessity because to practice faith means your belief doesn't have to be justified. and thus you aren't constrained by justifications into exercising faith towards something that's anything less than perfect. I mean, regardless of whatever anybody believes as a good affirmation to make, nobody should dispute that Christianity got it most right. That sins are rights violations, and that forgiveness is the highest virtue, even higher than justice. Because virtues aren't obligations, they're virtues. Obligations are obligations. Christianity correctly distinguishes between the two. So, nobody should dispute that Christianity got it right on those moral questions. Therefore, if you're going to somehow choose to believe in a religion, it should definitely be Christianity, because it's the correct one. I'm going to smoke a cigarette now. DJ, you're the Reuben of ENTPs. Reuben is the Reuben of ENFJs. Just to be clear, what Reuben is. What does it mean when I say you're the Reuben of ENTPs? It means you're my favorite ENTP. Of course, I'm excluding myself from this pool, but I'm much more clear on how much I like you than on how much I like me. Sometimes I don't like me at all. Sometimes I'm very disappointed in myself. Most of all, I'm disappointed in myself when I don't practice what I preach. And it happens very frequently, and it's like, I cannot be a hypocrite. accurately, I am being a hypocrite. And I'm not okay with that. Usually I'm not being a hypocrite, but a lot of times about cognitive functions I am. In one breath, I'm saying the beautiful thing about cognitive functions is that we're all both retarded and genius in specific ways. And then in the next breath, I'm ranting about how much I hate TV and how stupid it is. That's gotta stop. You gotta make your choice here, Eric. You're either going to preach and practice, or stop preaching. You know, it's unacceptable what you're doing. And the reason I do it is because something's made me mad, you know? And I'm ranting about how stupid people are again, you know? And then I'm unfairly blaming it on TE. And the truth is, I don't like it because I'm bad at it. That's why I don't like it, because I'm not any good at it. Sure, please. Oh yes, I did eat shrooms. It was a long time ago. But they've worn off by now. Oh, this kitty though. This kitty will never wear off. Oh yes. Look at that handsome man. What a perfectly fresh, handsome man you are. You have made it impossible for me to not pet your stomach. And you're asleep enough that I can get away with that without being scratched, I bet. I did get away with it, you didn't even budge. Oh, what a good kitty. What an important kitty, man. I blame Bob, but Eric usually blames CPS. I told him I got my measly 10 Adderall, but I'm like, I got some good news. This is the last time you're ever gonna see me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What a magically wonderful wonder kid you are. And Daddy loves you. Daddy uses his emotion how to love you. Yeah, the thing is, it is good luck to pet Trouble's belly, but accordingly, it's dangerous too. I've never petted belly before, right now. I've not been able to pet it because he's so violent. Rachel and I spend a lot of time talking about how we're going to deal with the cats in this move. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What a wonderful kitty man. So good and true and just and fine and special. There's a genuine striving for understanding what is objectively true, beautiful, and good. Idealism. The thing is, I don't really think I'm idealistic. I just think I understand which contexts are appropriate to make assumptions in, and which contexts are not. And I generally make the correct assumption when in the correct context. So you have to be right about both things. Certain kinds of things are subject to certain kinds of assumptions being appropriate, and other kinds of things are not like that. And it's like not even possible really to explain it because you have to evaluate each context on its particulars to determine whether it's appropriate to make X kind of assumption in this context or not. And then to actually make an example of X kind of assumption and have it also be correct, the correct example. Because there might be like 5 kinds of X kind. So you have to, it's too complicated. It's not explainable, frankly. The thing I'm talking about. Because it requires too much. It's too dependent on the particulars of the thing. Well, I've settled on this time. He's an ENTP. Yeah, I've settled on that. But you didn't ask me if I settled on it. You asked CJ if he settled on it. And as to that, I do not know. This kitty, this thing's so weird right now. Look at this facial expression. What emoji is that? What emoji is that facial expression? Libra represents justice. And is ruled by Venus? Justice isn't ruled. Justice is the absence of authority beyond the truth and legitimacy. The point about justice is nothing rules over it, right? It's not the highest virtue, but it's the top level of obligation stuff. So, it, and virtue can't rule over obligation because they're separate dominions. Joy is in the journey, Mr. J, which is wise. He will enjoy discovering his new type in the next minute or hour or week or whatever. He's not ready to put behind the ideation deliberation phase of things. I totally respect that. You're trying to have some agave? Well, how would you like to have it? Do you mean have it sexually? Be careful of the spiny parts. Do you mean you want to own an agave? That's not so hard to do. You can own an agave. They're not very expensive. You could probably even just get a little baby one from a bunch of agaves and transplant it. The ruler builds the house, the planet decorates the interior. Right, but justice is the top level obligation matter. So it has to be the frame, not the contents. If you're gonna have a frame and case level stuff underneath the frame, justice can't be case level stuff. It has to be the frame. It is definitionally a framework. It's a criterion to determine. It's a value that the winner upholds better in say a debate, right? One of the main reasons why justice has to be a frame is because it doesn't impact well at all. I mean, in terms of strategically, you have to make it a frame because it doesn't impact well because it's not meant to be case level. It's inherently frame level. So it's not possible for justice to be secondary under some other frame because either that other frame is appropriate jurisdictionally, in other words, an obligation matter, in which case justice is above it, or it's jurisdictionally excluded from being the frame by having its own matter. So hopefully that was clear enough about why justice can't be case level. You're trying to be more present. You should just go out with an INFJ. They're present and they'll point out important things to you as you're busily being you, not intuiting about the external world, being lost in your thoughts and your words, your ideations, etc. It is not a good thing for you to be less you and more mindful, as people call it, or aware of the world. It is good for an INFJ to be that because that's what they're supposed to be. It's not good for an ENTP to be that because that's not what they are. And we're all better off letting things be what they are instead of trying to make them be things that they are not. Oh, silly kitty. What are you dreaming about? Are you dreaming about shitting on the bed? Goals, bro. Now that's a good goal. Get an INFJ chick is an excellent goal for you. It's the only goal that matters, really. Get yourself in a relationship with a non-broken INFJ. Don't get in a relationship with an INFJ who's also BPD. That won't work. They can be bruised. They can be hurt if they can be healed, you know. But don't get a broken one. Well, you should trust your intuition more about what you think people's types are. Don't do to other people what you're doing with yourself. Because you've been around this channel enough, typology enough, you understand well enough, you should be able to tell if they're actually an INFJ. I don't blame you for not being able to tell about yourself because we have poor subjective epistemologies. We have poor fluency in it, subjective epistemologies. But you should be able to say whether that self-typing is bullshit or not. And trust your intuition, probably. Well, then your intuition is saying she actually is an INFJ. And you should trust that. And this is going to be the hardest part. You should actually go fuck her. Rather than just ideating about hypotheticals. But that's the hardest thing in the world, right? Stop ideating about hypotheticals and actually go fuck her. That requires concretization of inadequately deliberated matters. You can bury the iceberg in what lies submerged. Well, Boba Fett, I mean, yes. INFJs are constantly misunderstood by everybody and underestimated. And if you're not good to them, they will be nasty and maybe ghost you or maybe shame you in some way or something like that. But that won't happen to an INFJ who's with an ENTP and vice versa. INTJ chicks, what's appealing about them, I think, is that they're super perverted. Yeah. But CJ chicks are super perverted. They're super, like, weirdly, you know, fucking with the hairbrush kind of perverted. Yeah, you don't need to question it with Grox. After you fucked her, then you'll say immediately, or after you've held her hand for the first time, you'll immediately say, let's get married. But don't actually do that until you spent time enough with her to validate that your initial grokking is correct. I've discovered that I can't hold a girl's hand without asking her to marry me. A girl touching me? Let's get married. Yeah, but CJ, because you're an HP, you have fluency in both knowledge functions. Only ESTPs and ENTPs have that. Anne is God. I am God. The happy grass are God. Jill grokks in beauty always. Jill is God. All shaping and making and creating together. Robert Heinlein. You're really sounding like an ENFP there. I don't know what type you are, but that's really sounding ENFP-ish. Let's make sure words don't mean anything. Not that I don't like ENFPs, they're fine. I don't like their process of trying to make words not mean things. Like, ENFPs want to make a case without defining anything. You can't do any intellectual work with words without defining things. That's such bullshit, though. I found out why people laugh. They laugh because it hurts so much, because it's the only thing that'll make it stop hurting. People don't choose to laugh as an action that's motivated by some plan. People laugh because they're surprised by something hilarious. Obviously. I mean, how insanely wrong can you be about something? You think people choose to laugh as a coping mechanism. You can't choose to laugh. Something has to be funny. Laughter is an involuntary response to funny things. Okay, I'm going to pee right now. In case you were curious as to what I was doing. The answer is, I'm going to pee right now. Oh yeah. That's good urine. Oh. It's a good strong stream of urine. kind of pee that says, my prostate's fine. That said something else. But unfortunately, I wasn't paying close enough attention, so I didn't quite catch what it said. But I think it said Brad. Probably it's calling for somebody named Brad, but it doesn't know that Brad's not here. But it's possible that it said tadpole. And we did say tadpole. I'm a little less clear on what it was trying to accomplish with its language act. It said Brad, then probably it's trying to get Brad's attention. It said tadpole. Well, that's why it's more likely that it said Brad, because I don't know what it would have been trying to convey, but it said tadpole. Open. There. I finished both of these on my posters. I'm going to go out here and smoke this cigarette. And come back for maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. And then I'll wrap this up because I have no more beverages here that I like. We got these gross beverages that I don't like in the fridge. We got 3 12-packs of sodas. Cherry Dr. Pepper was good. Barzi Cola was good. And then I took a chance on this shit that was like, I forget what it's called, but it had vague indications of like being kind of like squirt. If you've ever drank any squirt before. You know, the squirt is a grapefruit flavored soda. But this thing that we got, it was no squirt, let me tell you. I don't love squirt, but I like it. I do not like that stuff we got. I don't know what it's not diet, but it tastes like it is. You've done something terribly wrong if you're making a non-diet soda that tastes like diet soda. You could just end that sentence with, you've done something terribly wrong if you're making diet soda. Or anything that tastes like it. Because, let me tell you, these taste buds don't lie. Diet soda's gross. It's the equivalent of having no drink. I'd rather throw it out and have no drink and be thirsty than drink diet soda. That's how terrible it is. It's absolutely shocking to me that so many people drink diet soda. Because, first of all, if you want no calories in your drink, drink water. if you want a sweet drink, drink soda and have calories. Don't try to have a pretend sweet drink that doesn't have calories in it. Those kind of terrible anti-polar things are always bad ideas. Your choices are drink soda and don't care about the calories, or care about calories and drink water or something else that doesn't have calories in it. Not make a pretend soda that tastes horrible. I mean, that's a terrible idea. I mean, the only drink that doesn't have calories in it is water. Diet soda may not have calories in it, but it's also not a drink because it's so terrible. Works okay with bourbon. No, I had no idea there was a recent song about Diet Coke. You ordered Diet Coke. That's a joke, right? My dad drank nothing but Diet Coke when he wasn't drinking alcohol. He loved Diet Coke. Or, I don't know if he loved it, but he didn't drink regular Coke. Regular's too sweet. Coke's not even that sweet. I might agree with you. You said that about like cherry Dr. Pepper. That's a little too sweet, maybe. Maybe like if you were talking about Cactus Cooler, that might be accused of being a little too sweet. But if you think Coke is too sweet, then you just don't think sweet is good at all. You just don't like sugar. Not liking sugar is not a good reason to like the horrible taste of Diet Coke. Now there's some TI tool for you. Doesn't matter at all whether it came out this year or last year. But CJ's gonna have to correct himself because he said it was this year and it was actually 2022. Well, regular Coke is fantastic from two places, In-N-Out and McDonald's. You cannot trust the Coke at any other fast food restaurants, especially Jack in the Box. Ordering a soda at Jack in the Box is just getting yourself a large cup of liquid to throw away. Because they may not give you Diet Coke, but they seem to be completely incapable of getting the syrup water ratio correct. And it almost always tastes like urinal cakes smell. Because they use this stuff to clean out their soda machines. It smells like urinal cakes. I'm assuming. I don't know this, but I've deduced that they must be cleaning their soda things with urinal cakes because it's like all Jack in the Box sodas smell and taste like urinal cakes. The moral of the story is don't even get, if you like Diet Coke, okay, but don't get it at Jack in the Box. Because, I'm sorry I surprised you. Yes, you're a wonderful man, I love you. Yes, I do. You gave me an angry meow because I surprised you. His water brother could teach admonished guide, but choice at cusp was not shared. Here was ownership, beyond sale gift, hypothecation, owner owned, rocked inseparable. He eternally was the action he had taken at cusp. Now he knew himself. People do a lot of damage when they misuse the word ownership and try to pretend as though ownership doesn't have a very specific and concrete meaning. That passage is philosophically wicked. Ownership is the source of all rights. You can't play around with that word. All rights derive from property rights. All rights are a form of property rights. So you can't try to deconstruct the word ownership into meaninglessness without opposing human rights. Without actively working against them. And that's wicked. So, I guess we've established that Robert Heinlein is a bad person. Anyway, I guess that's why I never was into his books. People don't understand how important it is to use words correctly. More damage is done by people trying to use language to get their outcome rather than express the truth. than any other mechanism that causes damage. Propaganda is rampant. It's considered by most people the only reason to express opinions about things. Like, people start with this notion that they know what the best outcome is, and that whatever rhetoric they want to use, no matter how horribly wrong and bullshit it is, as long as it gets them the outcome that they know is best, it's fine. Of course, if the outcome was actually best, they would have good rhetoric, good argumentation. They can't possibly know that the outcome that they think is a good outcome is a good outcome, because if they did know that, they'd be able to explain it. After all future outcomes are only predicted. They can't be known. Intuition might be correct in predicting some future outcomes, but it's still predicting, not knowing. Just because all rights, actual natural human rights, derive from property rights, it doesn't mean that civil rights derive from property rights. Civil rights are defined as entitlements that are treated by the government as rights. But they shouldn't be called rights. Like, nobody has the right to vote, for example. That's not a right, because rights derive from ownership. So, it's important to use language correctly. And since people never do, everyone's super confused. And that's how terrible decisions get made. Anyway, I gotta split. I don't gotta split, but I'm gonna split. I'm tired and I don't have more beverages. I love you all, even when you're wrong. Have a good morning.